And I said, well, and I'm just making this name up. His name is not Mike. I said, well, Mike, then you know what he's there for. And here's what this man, who's a former Special Forces, a major law enforcement, and a hero to the law enforcement community, said. He said, I know he's here to take out us after we've been ordered to do the unconstitutional and the immoral. And he said, me and my men are not going to do it. So, Alex, what I'm saying to you is this. The pre-positioning of foreign observer / assassins has already been integrated into many, not all, but many of the law enforcement agencies across the United States. That is, you and I have spoken about Marcus Wolf. We have spoken about Yevgeny Primakov. We have spoken about the Department of Homeland Security hiring them, and these are standard communist operating procedures, and now we've got Obama going to address all of the kids on the 8th of October, the same kids that are going to be held captive, and the parents will be held captive if their kids are at school.
And I would imagine he's going to comfort them during the flu. This is going to be the whole kickoff. He's not saying that. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up. I want to do that now. Van Jones, who works for the White House, he's a czar over communications and community organizing, the tens of billions they're handing out to these groups. We're getting videos, reports, local news, them in the red and black uniforms, knocking on doors, threatening people, on video, beating people up at town halls, biting fingers off, Associated Press. I mean, folks, you cannot make this up. We have Al Gore on audio saying, don't, report on your parents. They're liars about global warming. You know best. We've got Obama to address the students, asking for their help in his agenda. I mean, folks, you cannot, again, I can't believe this is happening in America. I mean, even though I knew it was coming, it's now here. It's kind of like the bully says he's meeting you after school. The school day's over. You walk out. There he is. He weighs 50 pounds more than you, and the fight's on. I mean, the bully is now about to punch us in the nose. His arm is moving, and then the Media Matters says I'm a criminal, and none of this exists. Here is Van Jones, the community organizing bully, saying on syndicated radio what's happening. Here it is.
One of the things that has happened, I think, too often to progressives is that we don't understand the relationship between minimum goals and maximum goals. Right after Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat, if the civil rights leaders had jumped out and said, okay, now we want reparations for slavery, we want redistribution of all wealth, and we want to legalize mixed marriages, if that had been there, they had come out with a maximum program the very next day, they'd have been laughed at. Instead, they came out with a very minimum program. We just want to integrate these buses. The students, a few years later, came out with a very minimum program. We just want to sit at the lunch counter. But inside that minimum demand was a very radical kernel that eventually meant that from 1954 to 1968, complete revolution was on the table for this country. And I think that this green movement has to pursue those same steps and stages. Right now, we're saying we want to move from suicidal gray capitalism to some kind of eco-capitalism where, at least we're not, fast-tracking the destruction of the whole planet. Will that be enough? No, it won't be enough. We want to go beyond systems of exploitation and oppression altogether, but that's a process. And I think what's great about the movement that's beginning to emerge is that the crisis is so severe in terms of joblessness, violence, and now ecological threats that people are willing to be both very pragmatic and very visionary. And so the green economy will start off as a small subset, and we're going to push it and push it and push it until it becomes the engine for transforming the whole society.
My guest has been Van Jones, founder and president of Green for All.
I don't know if you guys know Van Jones. Van Jones is... Ooh.
This is his house, apparently.
Van Jones, all right. So, Van Jones, we were so delighted to be able to recruit him into the White House. We've been watching him really he's not that old, but for as long as he's been active out in Oakland and all of the ways that he has, the creative ideas that he has. And so now
that's
we
enough.
have captured that.
That's the White House and him in the White House and them thanking him. The issue here is this is not communism or for the people, even if you believe in that. This is big banks openly say they're going to take over the whole economy, and then those parasites you see are going to move into the middle class, your houses, your land, your daughters are theirs, your kids are theirs. And coming up, we finish up with flu, I'm going to play Al Gore, I'm going to play Obama, I'm going to play them all saying and Rahm Emanuel, kids report on your parents. Kids, don't do what your parents say. This is the most savage assault. And now on giant telescreens, the president's going to start addressing your kids and telling them to literally come after you. Ladies and gentlemen, they've already got their goons beating people up everywhere. Our guest is Steve Quayle, stevequayle.com. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com.
Are you concerned for the safety of your loved ones? Listen closely to this message from pepperspray.com. Every 22 seconds a violent crime is committed. America has changed, and your personal safety is your first priority. Be smart. Be safe. Trust pepper spray instead of your luck. Pepperspray.com is the only website you'll ever need for all of your non-lethal self-defense supplies. Pepperspray.com carries one of the largest assortments of pepper spray and personal safety products on the web. From big to small, we have it all. Pepper spray, mace, animal repellents, stun guns, and tasers. Pepperspray.com also carries a large assortment of products for personal, home, child, and pet safety. Enter SAFE in the coupon box and you'll receive a special discount off of your order. So what are you waiting for? Go to pepperspray.com. That's pepperspray.com or call 1-800-908-9988 today.
Folks, they say there's no national compulsory service as they introduce the bills. They say there's no anti-gun bills as they introduce them. They say there's no FEMA camps as they're openly built. This is a military tactic, and so is the incrementalism. And they admit they're doing it. And they admit they're coming after talk radio, and they want to have Chavez-style control. That's the head of the FCC diversity unit. It's time to say no in free speech at every level and every way. And if they shut down talk radio and shut down the internet, you got to put posters up, and you got to put up micro FM and AM. We got to fight this tyranny. I mean, I'm calling for people to really gear up and get serious and to not back down from this tyranny. It's your First Amendment right. These people mean business. Every other country's been overrun and cold. Now it's happening to England and the United States and Canada and Australia. Our once great free countries are completely falling to classical despotism. You heard that wicked Van Jones admitting total redistribution, total communism. But that's not really what it is. It's the banks putting us all in slave camps. He is a slave master. Steve Quayle, your comments on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you. Well, I think the thing is I'm glad you played that clip, because here's the deal. When you've got someone that's ahead of the Treasury who doesn't pay his income tax, and then you get an announcement that the IRS is going after delinquent taxpayers who have lost their jobs or basically had to forfeit their houses, this is the ultimate Hegelian dialectic. If Americans do not stand up with their free speech, and I got to tell you, Alex, concurrent with speaking out is also getting on our knees and repenting, because the people who have been apathetic, indifferent, are largely the evangelical Christian community. They still don't get it, and now when Van Jones and his ilk, these are hardcore communists, the bottom line is the Weather Underground has gone on record as stating they are going to kill anyone who stands in their way. Now you've got a president coming to address the school kids on the 8th. How dare he make his appeal? That's exactly what the Hitler Youth was based on. And ladies and gentlemen, they steal terms, reinvent the meaning, and then go after it. Like Alex, for instance, when they're claiming that anybody who believes in a conspiracy is in need of psychiatric help, it's the freaking psychiatrists that have screwed up more lives than they've solved. And I'm standing by that statement. If I said on your show, they identify, they vilify, make you a villain, then they nullify to destroy. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest takeover is not the physical, first of all, it's the spiritual, and it's followed by the financial. When you abdicate your God-given freedom and cease to speak out against evil, it's very soon the chains that you choose to ignore are those that ensnare you.
Well, that's it about corruption. When you've studied history, and listen to what Steve Quayle's telling you, when you study history, you begin to learn and realize that once you give into corruption, it immediately races downhill. And that's what the founders said. They said the level of tyranny you will live under is the exact amount you will put up with.
Absolutely.
And I know it's never really happened here, but it's happened everywhere else. This is real tyranny. This is line us up. This is line us up in pits and shoot us in the back of the head. This is put us in work brigades with little control freak dirtbags riding around on horses, cattle prodding us. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I've been on record as telling the people in the military there's a war going on, even to the point of taking down 4 of America's heroes in a Black Hawk over Denver. Now, Alex, that's mainstream news. But what people don't understand is those brave men in the Black Hawk wouldn't go along with the plan to basically get rid of 25 to 50 million Americans. Then jump to the Intelligence Committee, which I've been telling everybody behind the scenes, based on the information coming to me, that there's a war going on. And even to the point where someone in the former National Security Agency just a couple weeks ago